3.5 example, Barrio Bachelorettes, a holiday rom-com. So let's have a look at our next example. It's called Barrio Bachelorettes. The premise is a bachelorette trip turns into a holiday romance in the city of Barcelona, with 3 different chaps vying for the protagonist's affections. Example 1. Let's try something really simple with our genre, a rather British holiday. She chooses romance comedy novel, a Bridget Jones for the Gen Z generation, and go to MidJourney and see what happens if we just add a book cover illustration 4 to the start of the prompt and add Barcelona to the end and run it a few times. Here I'm going to teach you a little piece of code. If you type --R3 to the end of the prompt, it will repeat this job 3 times. Let's hit enter to run these 3 jobs. We actually get some rather fun results. It interprets the genre in a nice way. We're being ambiguous with our subject words, so we're getting a nice variation of results. But maybe these results are a bit too busy. So how about we use the prompt, but this time put a simple, minimal book cover and add our --R3. And like in the previous example, we could even iterate on these rather different variations we get with such an ambiguous set of results. Let's try one. Drag the images into the Create bar, set them as style references with the paper clips, and click on the text. Even set the chaos up to 15. It's a fun way to explore in different directions. Example 2. Let's take a little bit of everything and see what happens. Neon, strange magic, delusion, irresponsibility, a mansion up in the hills of Sant Cugat, overlooking Barcelona. And add to the end of it, romance couple, and run that 3 times with a --R3. There is literally nothing I like here at all. Horrid stuff, far too dark. Maybe it's because of the neon prompt. But let's not quite give up yet on our word soup. So let's go back to the Explore page and try and get some images that are white neon magic. Drop a few into the Create bar. Use the text. But let's remove the word neon from the prompt and put in daytime. Run it a few times, see what happens. Not really feeling these, but at least it shows you how, with your subject, it's sometimes better to pull the word out of the prompt and get the feeling from the style reference instead. But at the same time, if we feed it too much information, it gets confused and doesn't produce good results, which is handy because we want a simple, strong focus. How about we use this prompt, which will keep our style references, but remove everything from the prompt and just type silhouette romance couple in Barcelona. Yeah, I really don't know about this one. The sooner we move on, the better. Example 3. As a completely crazy way attempting to get a subject to work, we're actually going to try something totally different and just let go. Let MidJourney take over the reins when it comes to the style. We're going to try a tech house disco party on a balmy summer evening, Barcelona, 2004. Romance couple. And the way we're going to let MidJourney take over is that we'll put this whole thing in as a prompt, and afterwards type --S ref random. This will create our subject, but with a random style from the database. I mean totally random. And let's put --R10 after the prompt. This is truly a hit and miss method to find ideas and to see if a subject works. But it's super fun. Be warned, it can burn through your fast hours trying out this many styles at once. And a lot of these are photographs, so maybe let's run that again, but adding simple illustration. See what it gives us. As you can see, lots of dross, Maybe run another 10. This is definitely one where you need to trust your eyes and also keep an eye on fast hours. You can do this by going to your username, Manage Subscription to check. But if I scroll through all our 30 sets of results, there are some places where our subject works pretty well. So I'm going to right-click and like those ones. Example 4. When you fill in the checklist, one subject might stand out more than the others. Something that just feels right. It will have a natural visual aspect that appeals. For me on this project, it was the bride dressed in a chicken costume with a wedding veil. It's an arresting image in my head and rather funny. And this book is a romantic comedy. And in the UK, a bachelorette party is actually called a hen do. For men, it's a stag do. And isn't all love scary, and aren't we all chickens on some level when it comes to love? So it feels conceptually correct on some level. I know that our protagonist isn't the person getting married, but does that matter? Let's give this one a go. I'm going to ask for a cute illustration of a woman dressed in a chicken costume, but also with a bride veil and holding flowers. And because we're going to do an illustration, I'm going to set the stylization down to 150 with --S 150. Low stylization is what we need when it comes to anything that's illustrated in a simple way. Let's run this a few times. This is not giving us what we want, or at least what we imagined. It's not a chicken costume, but she is a chicken in some of them, which I actually like a bit more. It's a crazy arresting image, and that's all you want from a book cover. Something that people remember, something people connect to and can tell their friends. It's that great book with the chicken bride on the cover. If we can tell people what the cover is in a very simple sentence, then it means it goes into our brains and is stored in a very simple and focused way. And even though it's not what we asked for, the happy accident is very visually powerful. She's a keeper. I love this concept. It's everything good book cover design should be. So, recapping this example. 1. We can simply add the words "a book cover illustration of" to a genre and get some pretty interesting results. 2. We can iterate on these. 3. Sometimes removing subject words from prompt and letting style references do that can help. 4. Sometimes things don't work, and it's better to start in a new direction. 5. Use --S ref random for some random styles on our subject to see how lots of different styles work with that subject. 6. Sometimes when you fill in the checklist, one idea will stand out. 7. Watch out for those happy accidents when playing around with subjects. 8. A book cover doesn't have to be literal. If it's a cool image that works, use it. 9. You guessed it, trust your eyes. And next let's move on to our final example.